Hello students, in our last lecture we have learned the second law of motion. In this chapter, force and laws of motion, we studied that second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied unbalanced force. The rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to applied unbalanced force. This is the second law of motion. And we have also learned this new physical quantity, which is momentum, that is denoted by P, which equals mass into velocity. That gives us P is equal to mv. This is the momentum. Now we will study the mathematical formulation of second law. We will prove the second law with mathematical formula. So mathematical formulation of second law of motion. So to study this, let us suppose that an object of mass m is moving along a straight line with initial velocity will be u, and it is uniformly accelerated, that it will reach a final velocity which is v, and there will be some time taken here, so there is a time t, and for this acceleration or for this velocity, final velocity, or for motion, there will be a unbalanced force, that is F. So here initial and final momentum of object, it will reach a certain momentum. So initial momentum that is P1, because momentum is denoted by P. So initial momentum P1 will be mass into initial velocity, that is u, and final momentum, that is P2, will be mass into final velocity, means mv. P1 is equal to mu, P2 is equal to mv respectively. Now we will study change of momentum. So to calculate change in momentum, we have to subtract this initial momentum from its final momentum. So change in momentum gives us P2 minus P1, that is final momentum minus initial momentum. Now P2 and P1 can also be written as mv minus mu, because here we have seen that P1 is mu and P2 is mv. So P2 minus P1 can also be written as mv minus mu, or if we simplify this, it can be written as m into v minus u. So the rate of change of momentum, now if you want to calculate rate of change of momentum, because second law talks about rate of change of momentum with applied force, so in this we have to add time. So it will be m into v minus u upon t. Now or you can write it also as applied force F is directly proportional to m into v minus u upon time taken t. Now this is the directly proportional value. If you want to convert this into equally, we have to put some constant in it. So to make this equal, we have put a constant k. So km into v minus u upon time taken t. Now here we know that from our last chapter, acceleration is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity upon t. We know this formula of acceleration. So here v minus u upon t is there, that is final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. So you can write all of this simply as a, that is acceleration. So force is equal to constant mass into acceleration. So this is the equation we get. Now here this quantity is proportionality. Here the SI unit of mass, we need some unit for force. You cannot write it like just this. So here SI unit of mass is kg and SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. But SI unit of force is chosen. It is chosen so that the value of this k becomes 1. K is equal to 1. To make this, for this, the one unit of force is defined as the amount that produce an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in an object of 1 kg. 1 unit of force is equal to, if it creates acceleration of 1 meter per second square of 1 kilogram object, then it is be called as 1 unit of force. That is, if we write it, 1 unit of force is equal to, first this is the constant, into 1 kg, that is mass, into 1 meter per second square, that is acceleration. Because we first had that F is equal to constant into mass into acceleration. So here constant into 1 kg mass into 1 meter per second square acceleration. So this way the value of k becomes 1. Value of k becomes 1. So you can write it as force is equal to mass into acceleration. So here the unit of force will be kilogram ms square, because mass, SI unit of mass is kilogram, SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. So you can also write it, this is also called as Newton, which is denoted by N. So SI unit of force is equal to kg meter per second square or Newton. The symbol is N. So by this, the second law of motion gives us a method to measure force acting on a object as product of its mass and acceleration. You can calculate force applied on an object by mass of object and acceleration of object. This is the mathematical formulation of second law. Now we will see that how this second law of motion works in our everyday life, or how it is seen in our everyday life. So here the second law of motion talks about rate of change of momentum, which is directly proportional to force. That means if rate of change of momentum is very high, the applied force will be also high, and if this decreases, rate of change of momentum decreases, the given force will also decreases. Like when a cricketer is catching a moving ball, he will catch the ball and move his hand in the direction of ball. The figure is given in your textbook as figure 9.8. So he will gradually pull his hands backward with the moving ball. Why? Because it will increase the time. As he catches the ball, he moves his hands backward in the direction of moving ball. The time is increased to change the momentum. As the time increases, the rate of change of momentum, because the ball was moving, if it stops moving, the rate of change of momentum will be high if it stops at a point where fielder catches the ball. But as the fielder moves his hand backward, the time increases as the rate of change of momentum decreases. So with increasing in time, the decrease of momentum will require a lesser force because time is increasing. But if time is less, the rate of change of momentum will require more force, so it can hurt the hands of a fielder. So here you experience the second law of motion. Now the first law of motion can also be mathematically stated from mathematical expression for the second law of motion, because we have seen the second law of motion is force is equal to mass into acceleration, or force is equal to mass into final velocity minus initial velocity upon t, or you can also write this as force into time is equal to mv minus mu. So here when f is equal to 0, v will equal to u. When force is equal to 0, the final velocity will be equal to initial velocity, whatever time is taken. This means that object will continue moving with uniform velocity u throughout the time t. Now if initial velocity is 0, it will remain 0 throughout time, and if initial velocity is, if object is moving and initial velocity is more than 0, it will remain as it is. So this way you can conclude that if force is 0, there will be no change in velocity or no change in acceleration, as object will stay it in original state. If it is moving, it will continue move, and if it is at rest, that initial velocity is 0, it will remain at rest. Now let us calculate some examples given in your textbook, which will give you a better understanding that how the second law of motion works, or how you can calculate force from given mass, acceleration and time. So let us study the first example 9.1. It says that a constant force acts on an object of mass 5 kg. A constant force is acting on an object of mass 5 kg in duration of 2 seconds. So time is equal to 2 seconds. Mass is equal to 5 kg. It increases the object's velocity from 3 meter per second. From means it is initial velocity, so u is equal to 3 meter per second, to final velocity, that is 7 meter per second. So now we have to find out the magnitude of applied force, or we have to find out force. So here what is given? Mass is given, time is given, initial velocity is given, and final velocity is also given. And we have the formula: force is equal to m into v minus u upon t. Now if we put this value in this formula, we can easily get force. So force is equal to mass here is 5 kg. So 5 kg into final velocity is 7 meter per second minus initial velocity was 3 meter per second upon time taken was 2 seconds. So by calculating this, we will get force is equal to 10 Newton, because SI unit is Newton. So here force is equal to 10 Newton. Now we also have to calculate if the force was applied for a duration of 5 seconds. Now time is increased. If the time was 5 seconds, we have to calculate final velocity of object, because if the same amount of force, that is 10 Newton, is applied on this object of same mass, which is 5 kg, for 5 seconds, so final velocity will change to a higher value. So now we also have force, we have to calculate v, that is final velocity. So here force is applied for 5 seconds, means time is equal to 5 seconds. So we have formula: force is equal to m into v minus u upon t. But here we have force, we have to calculate final velocity. So we will move this here. So final velocity is equal to u plus ft by m. We have to change this formula by gaining final velocity. So substituting the value, v is equal to initial velocity was 3 meter per second plus force was 10 Newton into time here is 5 seconds upon mass was 5 kg. By calculating this, we will get that final velocity is 13 meter per second. So you see, by given acceleration, that is final velocity and initial velocity, given mass and given time, you can calculate the force. So try to calculate other examples given in your textbook, example 9.2, 9.3. There are also solution given. By calculating or by solving these examples, you will get a better understanding of second law of motion. So in our next lecture, we will study third law of motion. Thank you, students.